Today marks 2 years since Hurricane Florence made landfall in North Carolina. Florence dropped 8 trillion gallons of rain over 5 days here. CBS 17 Storm Team meteorologist Brian Hutton Jr. explains how the Weather Service is working to improve its forecast and its messaging with future storms.
2 years ago today, Hurricane Florence made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane near Wrightsville Beach. Its legacy is not the wind, but the incredible rain it brought to North Carolina. Barrett Smith, the hydrologist with the National Weather Service in Raleigh, believes there is still a long way to go in continuing to improve their messages to the public during major events. And one way they are improving their messaging is by stressing impacts that extend away from the center of the storm.
We really try to make strides in the National Weather Service in improving the messaging to not just focus on the track of the center of the track, but also focusing on miles and miles away from the center, and also focusing on the impacts of flooding, because again, that is the #1 killer associated with tropical systems.
Nationally, a new agency is working to continue to improve flood forecasts. At the state level, plans are constantly being revised to keep people safe, even when they have to evacuate.
The National Weather Service is heavily invested in flood forecasting. We got a National Water Center down in Tuscaloosa, trying to improve a national water model. And so the Weather Service is heavily invested in that. The state of North Carolina, I know, is heavily invested in monitoring stream levels and also, infrastructure, best evacuation routes, trying to make sure that we're not putting, even the people who are evacuating in harm's way.
The Weather Service can't accomplish their mission alone, and Florence showed the strengths of their partnerships here.
There was, a 3 or 4 day rain river forecast at Fayetteville that was just right on, several days out. And so some of that was, the forecast was just tremendous, but also the coordination with our local partners and at the state as well, in trying to get messaging out and understanding what the impacts will be.
To date, North Carolina has distributed more than $3.5 billion in federal and state funds in recovery from Florence. Florence caused $24 billion in damages in the U.S. and 54 deaths. In Raleigh, meteorologist Brian Hutton Jr., CBS 17 News.